Hey guys, it's Vince. Today in this video, I'm going to be discussing the option to get involved in true 3D machining utilizing 5th Axis CNC automation. It seems like every week that goes by, my email box is filling up faster and faster with questions from future clients, past clients, DIY makers, business owners, factory owners about how do they expand into true 5th Axis machining. And with good reason, because just so you guys are all aware, when you start getting into 5th Axis CNC automation, you virtually have endless capabilities of what you want to create. The only limiting factor, of course, being your own skill set of your software you're using, and on top of that, the size constraint of your machine. So what I want to cover real quick is what you can expect when you're getting involved in 5th Axis machining. First of all, CAM software. Okay, hardware we already know or should know. If you're getting involved in that level of machining, you should realize you're going to require at least a minimum, an absolute minimum of 5 motors, 5 drivers, strong enough power supply to cover the whole system, preferably, or multiple power supplies, depending upon if we're doing a retrofit or whatever configuration you need. So let's not talk about hardware. Let's just look at software and what's going to be required on your end to get this even get this ball rolling in the aspect of understanding the gravity of what we're getting involved with. So first I have here SolidWorks. SolidWorks has pretty much been the pinnacle in full-scale automation, and with good reason. It's excellent software. It is not cheap software, guys. Okay, when you start getting involved in 5th Axis machining, the first thing you're going to realize is you basically have the same capability as a full-scale shop, minus the fact that your machine size will be, again, the constraint factor. So let's look at this from that perspective. SolidWorks, and this is what I wanted to do. I'm just going to brush up on this because I want to make this video, easily digestible and not make you guys have to sit here for hours. But you can double check everything I'm saying. It is factual. I'm not posting this on forums because I want you guys to really learn something and hopefully go back and do your own homework, and then you'll realize exactly what I'm saying to be true. If you look at these pages on software that do support 5th Axis, SolidWorks once again being one of the flagships, you're going to find that when it comes to pricing this software, it basically says get a quote, contact sales, get a demo. Okay? When you see these links that say this, you might as well know already you're looking at multitudes of thousands of dollars to purchase, and with good reason. Because these companies know that when you purchase software that encompass a true 5th Axis capability, you can machine virtually anything. Okay? And that means you're pretty much endless on how much money you can make. Now, I know my hobbyists out there are saying, well, I don't care about what I make. I'm doing this in my basement because I just want to see what the machine can do. Well, that's great. But let's be real now, and here's what the realism is. The machine you own is made to produce components. And when you purchase this software, they are looking at you producing for profit. They are not looking at you producing for a hobby. Okay? That being said, okay, when you look at SolidWorks, now I have a couple here I want you to look at. SolidWorks supports it. I'm going to go back to Vetrix, but right now this is BobCAD, and I'm a big fan of BobCAD for a couple reasons. But overall, they're no different. I mean, when you look here, and this is just going over their Pro Series for 5th Axis support, you can see all the enhancements. I mean, it's just ridiculous in what this software can do. Gouge checking, you can see the software is doing that. I'm just scrolling through here to give you guys just an idea of what you're looking at when you're looking at professional grade software. So overall, you get the gist of just how detailed this software is. I mean, right down, lay-then features, overlaps, rough allowance, sorting. I mean, you name it, it's pretty much got it. That is what you're paying for, guys. You are paying for that elaboration to let you facilitate virtually anything you want to make. So when you look at the price on this software and you look at the price of the hardware, you're going to find out real quick the software typically exceeds the price of the hardware to actually do a 5th Axis machine. However ridiculous that may sound, but it is true. Because remember one thing, hardware is only usable with software. These companies know it. Okay, they all know it, and they all know the capability factors when you purchase the right software. That being said, I know there's some guys out there that are going to bring up, well, there are companies, and I'm going to bring up Fusion right now, Fusion 360 Ultimate, which is made by Autodesk. It's a company, and this one of the rare few that actually shows you pricing on what you can expect to pay, and this is just for availability of the software, guys. And the software, you can see monthly is $190 a month. That's upfront. 1 year is $1,500, 2 year $3,000, 3 year $4,500. Well, odds are if you have the machine, I would honestly say you're most likely going to have it longer than 2 or 3 years. It'd probably take you a good year if you've never learned CNC just to get the machine running enough to where you're really getting comfortable facilitating component production. So let's look at overall what we're looking at here with pricing. I mean, you can see here, based upon just this software, and mind you, you do not own this software. I cannot emphasize that enough. This is up in the cloud. This is you joining, and you know, these software companies are getting slick now. They're trying to make everything up in the cloud. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm old school. I like to be able to purchase, get discs in the mail, as far as just so I know that I have this software. All of my designs are saved on my own computer. When they're doing this cloud format, guys, remember one thing. Your designs 98% of the time are going to be stored in their cloud. I'm not a big fan of that because you want to make sure your designs are sacred, especially if you are a company. I cannot emphasize that enough. Whether you have patents or not, one of the big things here is any proprietary information, why would you want to store it in a third-party cloud? It does not make any sense. And again, you have no idea who has actual visualization of that. So when you think about that, I always try to bring that up to clients all the time. Be careful with that. I can't emphasize it enough. Whatever software you decide to choose, and believe me, Fusion is actually very good software. But again, I'm not a fan of the free version, mainly because it can go up in price. They can actually start charging you for it at any point in time that they decide, which basically holds you over a barrel for you to either purchase it or then you have to relearn new software, which if you've been using Fusion, it could be catastrophic if all of a sudden one day they say, you know what, now you need to pay for it. So think about that. You know, I'm trying to do these videos to make you think ahead and make you understand the gravity of what you're getting involved with. When you start getting into full-scale production, and even though your machine might be a 4x4 or 4x8, when I say full scale, if it's fifth axis, it's considered full scale, you are going to pay full-scale prices. And that's exactly what you see being reflected here. $200 a month for a guy who's doing this as a hobby, guys, that's a small car payment. Sometimes it's a large car payment, depending on your budget. Think about that. If you're doing it as a hobby and you're not planning on profiting with this equipment, you really need to evaluate where you're going, because they are. And I'm telling you right now, these prices are real. These are what you will be paying. And actually, this is relatively cheap, but again, it would be more cheap in the sense that you own it. You do not own this software. And when I say own it, I know you never actually own any software. You're actually purchasing a user's license. However, in this instance, you're not even getting that. You're just getting access to the cloud. That's basically it, and you're good. So keep that in mind. Fusion was one of the nice ones to actually post on here, the actual cost, to give you guys an acclimation of what you can expect. And even at $190 a month for a lowest upfront investment, that to me, that's not that low. So just keep that in mind of what you're actually looking at. Another one that I always get questions on is Vetrix, okay? And I have to say the truth, Vetrix is very, very good software. However, none of Vetrix software supports true 5-axis machining. I'll say it again, none of it supports true 5-axis machining. And if you take the time to read about their products, here's Cut 3D. 3D models that are too large, thick, or thick to machine because of gantry height, cutter length, or limited material thickness can be sliced into separate pieces. Each slice can then be machined and the complete job assembled. Okay, that makes sense. The interesting point here, Cut 3D quickly and easily converts 3D models into CNC toolpaths. 3D XYZ point data that can be machined on conventional 3-axis CNC machines. It is not designed for 5-axis machining, guys. I'm telling you right now, be aware of what you're looking at, because you will find out very quickly, even as you cycle through these sites, what you can expect and what you can see. And even if you go through here, you can see what files are supported. And again, Rhino 3D, 3D Studio, AutoCAD, BobCAD, Pro Engineer, SolidWorks, Solid Edge, Silo. I mean, they have a lot of features. Don't get me wrong. It is, feature-rich software, but it is not true 5-axis machining capable software. So be aware of that. And the price on Vetrix software is not cheap. They are a la carte. They will make you pay per module, which most guys are familiar with. I hate that, but that's the way they do their business. The UK is real big on a la carte pricing. Each module they make you pay for, they love to do it. The full-scale companies do the exact same thing, so be aware of that. That's going to raise your price. It's going to raise your budget. Next one I want to discuss. Now this one a lot of guys don't even know about. It's called Proto. Okay, Proto, they call it a machining platform. It's basically CAM software for the non-machinist. Now guys, I want to discuss this non-machinist point. Software that's designed under non-machining standards usually does not have the detail that most of you would want when you're going into 5th-axis machining. Now, I'm talking to the few that want to produce parts that rival factories and literally are going to make them money. And when I say money, I'm not talking, $30,000 a year. I'm talking in excess of 6 figures. So if that's what you're looking at doing, I cannot emphasize enough, be wary of these types of software. Now, if you're a hobbyist and you want to get involved in this 5-axis game, then I would honestly say this might be software worth taking a look at. I mean, right now, Proto is based out of the UK. You can see the prices in euros. It does support true 5-axis machining, 4 and 5-axis machining. A lot of you have never even heard of it, with good reason, because it is based in the UK. It's not readily known software. They do offer a 30-day trial, which is always nice. It can be downloaded. From what I've read, their software is, I've never tried it. Now, again, I'm just telling you what's out there and telling you what I know to be fact. As far as what I've read, the software doesn't have any limitations for 30 days, but after 30 days, of course, you will be required to purchase a license. That being said, there are different versions of it. You got Rhino Proto, new in V3, 4, 4.1, it's just telling you all the different releases. Now they're on 6.1. And again, multi-axis edition will be the one you're concerned about, which is this right here. And again, think about what you're purchasing. You're still looking at a $1,200 purchase for hobby software. So think about that for a minute. $1,200 for software that's not even geared towards the machining in the true sense, where you would have threading options, different types of articulations that probably would be required with that kind of complexity. You always want your software to be full of options, even if you're not going to use them for the best price point. And the reason I say that is when you ever do need them, they are there, and they will expand with you. If you underbuy software, you're just going to end up buying it again. And believe me, I have had more clients do that over the years than anything else, because they think, oh, well, I'm just going to use this, and then they use it, and then they realize they're missing work because they don't have the capability. So keep that in mind. Know everything you can know about that absolute image that you're going for. If you're sitting there and you think that all your applications are going to do is be 3-axis and that's all you ever plan on doing, then that's fine. But when you plan on getting into 5th axis, these price points are real, and they will certainly affect your budget at whatever time you decide to expand. So again, this software, if you just want to get involved in it and are not concerned about all the latest and greatest options, this would be something to take a peek at. It is very simple to learn, at least from the way it looks. It looks more based in the Vetrix format, where, again, they're trying to keep it more like picture editing software than anything else. But overall, you really, really, really want to do your homework, and that's what I'm trying to show here. When you look at this software, and even as we go through here, and we look at the multi-axis edition, I'm going to click on it one more time, see if it reloads, which it did not, and you can see it really doesn't discuss much of the feature set of this software, which, again, I cannot emphasize that enough. Always weigh the feature set. You come over here to SolidWorks, you would have just an enormous amount of information based on video simulations. And once again, for those of you who don't know what simulations are, that basically will tell you, without actually cutting the part and destroying possibly your raw material, if the machine would see any issues, if as you're machining you would see any issues. It lets you catch a what if, even if you're not machining. So again, these are all options you should be looking at, especially if you're a shop. I cannot emphasize that enough as well. If you're a shop, you want to know as much information as possible. And again, Fusion 360 Ultimate, it's got basically everything you can imagine. But again, here on the cloud services, like I was discussing, all subscription are covered by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Cloud services allow you the flexibility to meet a variety of specialized project needs and business requirements. Accelerate the design process, simplify collaboration, save time, free up space, remain productive by moving compute-intensive tasks from your desktop to the cloud. Well, guys, I can tell you right now, if you guys are investing in fifth axis machining, odds are you're going to have an i5, i7 Intel system, if not a high-end AMD multi-core system. Therefore, this BS about telling you about how they're going to save your computer from doing excess tasks, that's BS. I just don't feel comfortable putting my secure designs in a third party's hands. That's the way I feel. Everybody is different. Again, I'm talking about from a business standpoint. That's up to you. But again, just look at this, weigh everything, and see what makes the most sense. See if I can get back on Autodesk site. Let's see. And this way you'll get a good feel for what Autodesk is. And then again, you can see. Here you go. This is basic Fusion 360. Please don't get them confused. 360 Ultimate is what you're required to do 5-axis machining. But again, you can see Autodesk is full-featured software. It's true engineering software. And again, your capabilities are virtually endless. So you can definitely see the difference. Even in the website design. And guys, that's another thing I want to point out. When you see websites that are very basic like this, I mean, you can see here, this is, probably at most maybe $800, $1,000 to create this website. And then when you see stuff like this tells you the kind of money that this company is putting in to what they're trying to project to their clients. This is the real deal. This is what you're looking at when you want to design, motorcycle parts or car parts, or, you've come up with a design that you feel is going to, sweep a certain market. These are the companies you want to work with. I mean, if you're in business format, and that's why I can't emphasize that enough, do your homework. 3D design, there you go. SolidWorks, again, you've got premium, professional, standard. I mean, it's absolutely insane the amount of capabilities when you're using the right CAM software you'll have. And not to frighten you, is it overwhelming? If you're just new to this, yes, it is overwhelming. The caveat to that is, and again, you can see right here, you're getting a sales rep. We don't want to do that. But overall, it is overwhelming. But what you want to realize is you've got to eat the elephant one bite at a time. This is not a fast process. If you're going to school, if you're doing this part-time, if you're going to work, supporting your family and trying to learn this, you can learn it yourself. It will take some time. A lot of the companies have spent, these larger companies, SolidWorks, Autodesk, again, Bobcam, they've all spent the money to make learning the software as easy as possible. Once again, that's what you're paying for. So keep that in mind. I can't emphasize that enough. So overall, you can see here, and again, Bobcat, I think, why I love them is they do have so much expansion to their software. I mean, the capabilities of their software is ridiculous. They are located in the U.S. Here's a good example. Thread milling enhancements, okay? Doing thread milling, you're not going to do that on Cut 2D. You're not going to do, or excuse me, Cut 3D from Vetrix. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have those capabilities. And again, you may want them. There's a lot of good reasons to have them. Simulation modes, you can see here, maintain tilt, 5-axis pro features, overall lathe enhancements. I mean, this is stuff for the guys that are really looking at expanding what their shops can make. I mean, smart view rotation. These are all things that will be used at one point or another when you're getting into this level of machining. And you'd want to use them. It's going to make your process faster. It's going to make you become more at one with what you're machining, because you'll get to see any flaws, any defects prior to actually going into, final revision process. I mean, this is what you really, really want to look at. Video capture, very cool idea. Again, it's insane. Price behind these softwares, I can tell you right now, will range in the thousands, guys. in the thousands. So when you're looking at your hardware and you're looking at a fifth axis machine, the Chinese are now selling fifth axis micro mills for probably, I think they're like 2,000, maybe a little over 2,000. You're doing a retrofit, 86 those BS Chinese drives. Get yourself some quality drives, preferably Geckos. We do a full articulation retrofit. You're looking at about another minimum of 1,000 to 1,500 just to do the retrofit on the controller, and then figure in this software, and then you start really seeing the true investment of what you have. And that's why I say the more access you have, the more capability you have, the more money you can make. With the more money you'll make, then it's more a question of what these companies are going to charge you, because they know what you're going to do with it. I mean, 9 out of 10 of you are looking to make money. You'd be a fool not to. I tell everybody that. If you're not going to make money with your machine, there's no real point to really own it, because at a certain point you're learning, you're still a hobbyist, but as you start producing parts that rival that of pro production facilities, there's no reason not to use it to make money. I mean, it's just logical. So just keep that in mind. I want everybody to be on the same page as far as what's out there, what questions to ask. When you're ordering from, excuse me, I gotta get a drink real quick. Excuse me. But when you're ordering from these companies, one of the biggest things, or looking at ordering, I should say, from these companies, one of the biggest things to look at is support. Autodesk, I know, offers excellent support. SolidWorks offers excellent support. Bobcam, of course, offers excellent support. They're about 30 miles from me in Clearwater, Florida. Super company, more geared towards true full-scale facilities. All of these companies, you will get the support you're requiring. Now, when we start looking at Vetrix, okay, Vetrix is a user's forum and email support because they are based in the UK, okay? Think of your location. For my guys in Europe, for you it may not be such a big deal. Some guys are fine using forums. I'm not a big forum fan when I'm talking about dropping thousands of dollars on software, and I may have a client's project I need support on to finish. I have a question, I have a query, and I can't get the answer until, you know, they're on my time zone or it's not their holiday. I mean, these are critical things you need to look at. And they will save you time and they will save you money. Again, support comes in the price, guys. Support comes in the price. My stuff is not the cheapest stuff on the market. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be. I'm not here to be the cheapest. I'm here to educate and give you a quality product that will grow with you. That if you're willing to take the time to learn it, you'll get your investment out of it, no doubt. I have had many clients, again, exceed 6 figures a year. I know I can think of at least 20 off the top of my head that are way over 6 figures a year and are using the same components that I sell everybody, whether you're a hobbyist, whether you're, you know, elite manufacturer, whatever it may be, it's possible. So keep that in mind. Support is a big thing. If you're in the U.S., you purchase something in the U.S., you'll get support from the U.S. in the sense that you know your product will come from the U.S., it'll come faster, odds are it'll come packaged better in certain instances. The Chinese do package very well, I must say, under most circumstances. However, as far as getting things in a timely fashion, definitely not the best way to go. So keep that in mind, no different with software. If you're trying to get in a timely fashion where you're trying to get accurate information, I am not paying thousands of dollars to go on a customer, or excuse me, a software's forum to get possible wrong information because I don't know who I'm learning from. I'm getting mostly opinions, which is what's mostly available on forums. I'm not real fond of that. I'd much rather spend the money. If I'm going to pay a couple grand, 3,000, 4,000, 2,000, whatever it may be, I would rather get form or actual support from a full-scale person, someone I can talk to on the phone, someone that can walk me through things. That to me makes more sense. The other factor to consider is as well is the more support you need with this kind of software, you will be paying for it. Why? Because once again, they know what you're going to be designing with it. So therefore, when the potential comes to make more money, their potential to make more money gets included in that as well. So again, keep that in mind. And keep that in mind with companies like Vetrix. Once again, I'm not trying to sway anybody away from Vetrix. Is great software. It's super easy to use. If you're good with picture editing software, this really doesn't come too much of a greater learning curve. The only thing I would say is that you do have to take into consideration what you're looking at with support. and watching their couple videos that they have and going on their forum and speaking to God knows who. If you're okay with that, that's fine. If you want to wait until you're on your time zone to talk to them about support, they'll answer you right back. That's fine. Under time critical situations, not the best process for what you're looking at if you're based in the U.S. So again, support is always part of your package on anything. Okay, if you're buying your mill, that's a 5-axis mill, and you buy it from China, factor in no support. No support, guys. That's what comes from overseas 9/10 of the time. And even if you do get support, 9/10 of the time, you still have a language barrier that you have to get past. Okay? Guys don't understand, reading Cantonese or whatever language that they post things in. If it's posted in, Chinglish, we don't know what it is. So that's why I'm telling you, think about what you're looking at and think about your purchase before you make it of what you're encompassing. Because if you're taking on this endeavor of getting into this type of automation, the capabilities are mind-boggling of what you can do. I mean, 3-axis machines are super capable. 4-axis machines are super capable. When you get in the 5th, it's ridiculous what you can do. It's just knowing what you're getting involved in. You got to take that, really, really think before you leap. And that's what I'm trying to do with this video. If anything, hopefully it should raise more questions in your mind of getting you, more in depth as far as what you can look at, what you can get involved with. Because again, even if you just browse these sites, and again, most of the bigger companies, you can see they're doing videos, they're showing you. I mean, it's ridiculous, the capabilities, and that's why engineers love them. SolidWorks, again, used by numerous engineers. BobCam is used by NASA. I mean, does that say anything for you guys? Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Winnebago, Harley-Davidson, Ford. I mean, we're talking, these are the big wigs. These are the ones that need to have components made right by precise engineers. So if you're using the same software, of course, you're going to get the same results, pending you understand it. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. And again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with these companies that I'm discussing. I just want you to understand the gravity of what you're getting involved with and what capabilities you'll have. Find the best mix of your budget versus your capability. Always your capability, because if you're a person that sways away from learning, in-depth challenges, there is a lot of computer geometry, a lot of math involved when you start getting into the 5th-axis 3D machining. So keep that in mind. I mean, the software is going to ask you a lot of questions. It's not nearly as quick to learn, of course, as 3-axis. 3-axis you're only moving in 3 motions. 5-axis is full 3 dimensions, and again, you have a lot more of a learning curve. If you're not a person that wants to do that, if you're a person that wants to study for an hour a night, you're going to be there a while. So just keep that in mind. The more time you put into this, the more you'll get out of it, just like anything else. But it is capable for anybody who wants to learn to learn. Just do it right. Don't spend that kind of money. Guys see this and go, oh, it's the cheapest software. It is. It's also based in the UK. And again, you only have forums, search forum. As far as support, setup tips, manuals, videos, FAQs, tips and tricks, build history, and forum. That's it. So even though you're dropping $1,200 on non-machinist software, you're still going to be stuck with the same support that you'd be getting with Vetrix as far as email support and pending their time zone and whatnot. So again, guys, be aware of what you're getting involved with. Understand the full gravity. If you say my budget's $3,000, $4,000 for your machine, and then you don't factor in CAM software to have the capability of that machine, it's useless. So remember that. There is no weak link in CNC. Whatever machine you design, there's no such thing as a part that does not matter. A cable, whether it be a $6 cable, it all matters. The quality all matters, and you will find that out, whether it be the hard way or from the start. And hopefully it's from the start, because I can't tell you how many guys I hear spend thousands before they figure out, man, I wish I would have did this right. They would have got more out of their equipment. So again, I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you guys understand now what it takes. And again, as far as hardware goes, hardware we all know, or should all know, you're still going to need, like I said before, just base. I'm not going into full detail, but you are going to require at least 5 motors, at the very least 5 motors, 5 drivers or a driver for every motor, pending, of course, you don't have, a slaved axis and whatnot. I'm not getting into all that. I'm just telling you the base you would need. And then, of course, power supplies to support all that, your enclosure, VFD, spindle. I mean, we're going into a whole realm where I've got another video on CNC, what you actually will require. It does not state exactly what you will require for a 5th axis, but what I just said here would be the one difference. If you are adamant that you'd like to go with a 6 axis or 5 axis, message me and we can put together a system for you and see if it makes sense. If not, and believe me guys, I can't tell you how many guys come to me and say I want a 5th axis. When we go and break it down and they see what's involved, then they change their mind. I have sold one 6 axis and one 5 axis to 2 large companies. One was Applied Materials. They already had everything in place. They needed the actual machine to do it as far as hardware. Built them a 6 axis controller. They were happy with it. We never had any problems, because they understood what they were buying. When you're looking at companies that large, it's very, very common. So keep that in mind. When personal users are looking at this kind of expansion, it's something that does take a lot to digest. So hopefully, again, this video has been helpful. If you guys do need any help, once again, my name is Vince. You can contact me at eDealers Direct on eBay, or you can contact me directly through my email at storm, STORM, 2313 @gmail.com. Thank you. Take care.